Last year in the budget cycle, the County Board of Supervisors allocated $1 million in additional funding for the Sheriff's Department to use for proactive, selected enforcement countywide. The importance of this money was to allocate additional resources to specific crime problems, going after those criminals that are causing the most problems within our communities, whether it be human trafficking, high-level drug activity and sales, and/or crimes of violence. That money was used to create additional members on each one of our crime impact teams, our gang teams, as well as the Human Trafficking Task Force to attack those specific crimes within our county. The operations we were able to run with that additional funding from the Board of Supervisors were very positive, not only for the community and disrupting some of these criminal enterprises and these folks that were actually preying on residents in our county, but also making a significant impact on the amount of drugs on the street. We were able to recover enough narcotics that equaled about $14 million in street value. Over 560 pounds of methamphetamine, 80 pounds of cocaine, and 42 pounds of heroin as a result of the activity by our deputy sheriffs. Incredible amounts of narcotics that were removed from the street. We made over 1,000 arrests, and of that 1,000 arrests, over 700 of them were for felony charges. And the folks that are involved in our Human Trafficking Task Force were able to focus their efforts with the additional resources on that terrible crime. We're able to recover 49 victims of human trafficking, and 26 of them were juveniles that we were able to help and get the services that they need and keep them from being victims any longer.
What struck me about the crime suppression program in San Bernardino County was, number one, the commitment by the Board of Supervisors to public safety, particularly in this instance to the sheriff of our county, but also we know that they're committed to the district attorney's office. And in this particular program, we were able to initiate a number of successful prosecutions as a result of the work that the Sheriff's Department did through the funds that the Board of Supervisors gave. The second thing that I was struck by was the return on investment on the monies that was given to the taxpayer. When you look at what they did over the year, you're talking about over $300,000 of recovered stolen vehicles, 480 guns, over $14 million worth of street value narcotics. And what I thought was the best was of the number of human trafficking cases, 26 juvenile victims were saved out of that lifestyle. Now, if you took only one person from that, and you talked about $1 million on one child, they're certainly worth more than that, but to talk about 26, that's priceless.
In January 2019, deputies from the gang enforcement team worked an investigation in Pinion Hills that led to a search warrant at a house where 2 convicted felons were in possession of firearms. Some of the firearms were illegal. After serving the search warrant, the deputies seized 53 firearms. One of the firearms seized was this AR-15 assault rifle that is a ghost gun because there's no serial number on the weapon. What criminals will often do is buy 80% lowers that are forged aluminum, take a mill, saw them out, and build a full rifle out of these weapons. Becoming more common nowadays is they're doing handguns without serial numbers, where they'll break them down, mill them out, and it becomes a semi-automatic handgun. These weapons are often used in home invasion robberies, robberies of stores and businesses, and other crimes to put threat on our communities. 2 suspects were arrested in this investigation, and charges were filed on them by the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office. During the crime suppression program, over 450 firearms were seized during traffic stops, search warrants, and other criminal investigations.
You know, the purpose and the reasoning behind this program is it's made a statement to our community and our constituents that we're going to improve the safety. It's a challenge, it's an ongoing challenge. As a number of issues have been decriminalized from the state, it's required more and more local policing. As we look forward, we seek to expand these programs because they make a difference.
The work conducted by our Sheriff's Department, along with their law enforcement partners, sends a clear message to dangerous criminals throughout San Bernardino County. You are not welcome in our communities.
Crime suppression operations similar to this are critically important to the overall safety of the citizens in the county of San Bernardino. This gave us the opportunity to apply additional pressure to those involved in criminal activity like trafficking of drugs and firearms, as well as human trafficking and violent crime. The additional funding from the Board of Supervisors allowed us to apply the additional pressure to that criminal element. And operations like this in the future are important to the overall safety of the citizens in the county of San Bernardino.